recognition of a state, many people will think, what is the state that they recognise? You have Gaza, much of it in rubble right now in the midst of this war. You have much of the occupied West Bank, its settlements and illegal settlements continuing. Have we heard today what they are setting out, or is that very vague, what the state would be?
Well, I looked at all three statements by the Prime Ministers of Canada, Australia and the UK. To put it in a very short way, it is very long on conditions and short on commitments. I mean, if we take the conditions, if I break it down, all three countries reiterated their commitment to a two-state solution. UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer actually said, the light of, the hopes are fading for a two-state solution, and we should not let that light fade. These statements were echoed in the Australian and Canadian statements as well. Then came, the role of Hamas. To put it short, no role at all, right? Very clear reiteration that Hamas should have no role in government, in security, in the future of Palestine. Then came the conditions on the Palestinian Authority, which calls for reforms. Canada and Australia actually talked about the Palestinian Authority holding general elections in 2006, and some statements calling for the demilitarization of Palestine. So in the end, you have three substantial countries, G7 members, declaring a state with no details on land borders, no details on the state's army. In fact, it has to be demilitarized, and no capital for this state because, it was this very year that Israel's far-right finance minister, Smotrich, inaugurated constructions on E1. I mean, this was the most controversial of the settlement projects because this basically divides East Jerusalem, which was supposed to be the capital of the state of Palestine, from the rest of the West Bank. So in very many ways, this is as vague as the Balfour Declaration, which, of course, famously said that, recognizing a national homeland for the Jewish people in Palestine, while in no way neglecting the rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine. So shorter on details.
And talk us through briefly where we're going now, because we're going to see out of in the last few days, Portugal, we're likely to hear now tonight at the UN, they will formally declare in a similar way, Belgium and France. France is an interesting case in point. What do you think we will get from Emmanuel Macron? Sources suggesting it might be more nuanced than we've heard today.
I mean, what we have for France is what is called the New York Declaration. I mean, this was a declaration signed in New York in July. It was co-chaired by France and Saudi Arabia. It has 41 clauses. So it's pretty detailed. The thing that is different and interesting with what France so far appears to be looking at, it is very much looking at some sort of Arab regional integration, some sort of security arrangement that will have the neighboring Arab states. Having Saudi Arabia as part of it, because it also includes, the Arab Peace Initiative. This was the Saudi initiative in 2002 before everything collapsed. So France seems to be looking at that. And France has also talked about parallel tracks on the Israeli-Lebanon situation and the Israel-Syria situation. So we're getting more details from France, but frankly, on the ground, not very many people think that much is going to change. This is very symbolic, and, people who are critical of it. I mean, of course, there are many Palestinians, the Palestinian Authority, of course, that is welcoming this, and this is a very important diplomatic step and a symbolic step. But on the ground, we don't see that much movement, especially when, over the past 2 years, we've had the most explicit statements from Prime Minister Netanyahu's government, refusing to recognize the state of Palestine, which is reneging on the two-state solution that Israel signed to nearly 4 decades ago now.
Leela, good